take that 14-day challenge in terms of starting your day instead of with the news, start it with gratitude, fill your heart with gratitude, and see how that enables you to show up differently in your life day to day.
This podcast encourages and empowers you to create your own unique real story, develop your own unique real statement, and discover your own unique real self. The power is yours. Good afternoon, Penny Zenker. How are you doing on this wonderful, beautiful afternoon?
I am fantastic.
Well, it's a great pleasure to connect with you. Please do tell me, what part of the world are you in right now?
I'm in Devon, Pennsylvania, just south of Philadelphia, the city of brotherly love.
All right. And which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this specific time in history?
I think it's the talent of, we were connected through somebody who I connected through stepping back and taking a look. And that's been a theme throughout my life. So I would say it would be that. It would be the power of stepping back and recognizing people, places, ideas, concepts, and resetting priorities.
Ooh, I like that. It feels like a reflection type aspect of your life where you slow down to go faster. Is that accurate?
Yeah, exactly. I call it, I'm working on a new keynote, which is called Step Back to Leap Forward.
Yeah, I like the metaphor of the arrow and bow, where you're pulling on the arrow and everyone is looking at the arrow and saying it's going backwards. And then you focus, right? You get to focus just like you did. And then you release and it's even faster than anyone could imagine. Who did you learn that from?
That's a great metaphor. I love that. May I borrow that?
It's yours. My friend says once you say it 3 times, it's yours.
I've heard that too, but I like to give people credit.
I appreciate that. Yeah, so who did you learn that from?
I think I learned it from a lot of difficult times in my life. Back to when I was 19 and my father passed away in an unexpected accident. And I think that was my first really major lesson in stepping back and identifying what's really important to me and in my life, who's really important to me in my life. And it just became a regular theme that just kept showing up over and over again and makes me, I believe, a better leader, a better parent, a better, entrepreneur, and just in every area of my life, be able to achieve more.
Let's dig into the entrepreneurship and what you do as a speaker as well, even as an author, right? Please tell us more.
Well, that's a big, broad area. I mean, I'm thrilled to have written a book that achieved bestseller status on Amazon. It's called The Productivity Zone: Stop the Tug of War with Time. And it's one of those things that we all are challenged with, and how, whatever success we want to achieve in our life, we get to decide and what it is we're going to spend our time on and where we're going to spend it on and how we show up for that time. And in my book, and I guess also themed, is I've come to realize that it's really about how we show up more so than what we do, right? I mean, it is important to pull that bow back, but the energy and direction of what we see in our mind and how we show up with that and the strength that we hold it and those types of things, if we're going to continue with that metaphor, right, all go into its release.
I love that. Ooh, yeah. I had one person on today, was speaking about it's not what you produce, it's who you are. And I guess it's equivalent to that, isn't it, as well?
Well, for sure, because how you show up is who you are. I really believe that. And it may not be who you are inside in that moment, that's who you are, because that's how you're showing up. So we get to step back on a regular basis every day to say, well, who do I want to be? And how do I want to show up? How do I want to be seen in the world? And how can I be the example that I want to be?
That's wonderful. No, you've lived this life. This isn't something you've read in a book. You've had this experience, haven't you?
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I think that like I said, there are themes that keep coming up for me. And that's, I guess, me recognizing that as a theme that keeps coming up tells me that, that's what I meant to share.
That's powerful. For those that are listening, where can they go to find out more about you? Because I mean, you've already like cooled me into wanting to go find out more, right, about you. So where's the best place for someone to listen or learn?
Well, pennyzenker360.com is a site where I've got different types of video clips up from my events. You can access my podcast from there, also my books and so forth. So yeah, that's probably the best place.
What's the name of your podcast?
It's called Take Back Time.
Ooh, well, that fits, right? So the book is
Yeah.
there. Oh, that's cool. All right, all right. Well, tell me one other thing that you've done consistently over the last 3 years, please.
Ooh, good question. Something I've done consistently. Well, actually, the thing I'm also most proud of, and a lesson that I got, was I consistently every day write in my gratitude journal when I wake up in the morning. And I start my day and fill my heart with gratitude so that I can live from that place of gratitude. Because it kind of goes along with how I said it, how you show up. And it helps me show up in the best way possible.
And how does it make you feel?
It makes me feel empowered. It makes me feel full of love, like loved and loving, and I think that's really important. And it leaves me full of possibility. So I love the way it makes me feel, and it came out of a very difficult time in my life when I was going through a really difficult divorce. Instead of focusing on what wasn't working, I thought I'd focus on what was working.
That's beautiful. Suggest to someone that's listening out there why they should even consider doing something like that.
Why should they consider it? I mean, wow. I mean, it sounds, based on what I said I felt, right? It sounds self-explanatory, but for people who feel, I mean, it takes 5 minutes to do for me to focus on those things. And it might be anything small, right? Like a warm shower or being in my fuzzy sheets that make me feel so, cozy. And I think we just forget about all the little things around us that we can be grateful for, as well as the big things. So I think people should do it because it'll change their life.
Well,
Try it for 14 days and tell me that it doesn't change your life.
Well, there we go. Yeah, and you can check her out at Penny Zenker 360 and send in that message, right? That's wonderful. Well, let's switch gears for a moment. Let's enter into my time machine. I would like to know, do you remember your earliest childhood memory?
Wow, it's interesting. I don't remember a lot about my childhood, but I'd say one of the earliest childhood memories that I have was I was on my parents' bed. They had this, I remember really distinctly their cover, their duvet cover or blanket was these little balls on top of, the blanket. And I remember the texture of it. And I've always been a fan of texture. And just playing with them on the bed. That's my earliest memory.
Why do you think this memory is so clear? And do you see it connecting to who you are today in some way?
Wow, that's a great question. I never thought about that. I don't know why, but texture, I guess, for me, if I think about it, texture is the meaning of life. What's texture in our life? It's what we feel, right? Texture can also, if you interpret it differently, like in what we hear and what we experience. So, and I'm all about creating experiences. So maybe it's that.
Well, that's beautiful. I see it as well as it takes time to appreciate the texture. Well, again, the name of the podcast with time and what you've said by pulling back to understand and reflect how that's been beneficial. Yeah, texture. It takes time to touch the texture and appreciate it. And then there's this gratitude, right?
Yeah.
Aspect as well. Well, that's beautiful. All right. If we fast forward to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh, that was John Cougar Mellencamp's Jack and Diane.
All right, all right. Do you see that song or the lyrics of that song connecting to you in anywhere?
Well, there's a lot of energy in the song, right? So, little ditty about Jack and Diane. So, for me, it was the energy of the song. Two American kids growing up in the heartland. So I don't know.
Love it. Love it. All right. All right. All right. Well, we've arrived at our destination. But before we get off of this time machine, there's a small declaration form. So it's yes or no. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Penny?
Uh-oh. Yes.
That was a genuine uh-oh.
Because I don't know what's coming.
Have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
No.
Are you married?
No.
Do you have children?
Yes.
Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No.
How about 3 hours a week?
Yes.
What about screen time, the phone and the computer? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours a day?
Less.
If you had to share with us your own unique, real statement, a statement that represents who you are, Penny Zenker, what would you say that is?
I like to say every day is game day.
Love it. Yeah, you have the band on as well, don't you, right?
I do, yeah.
Boom. Well, Penny, this has been such a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
I think just what we've talked about, I hope that resonates with you and to really take that 14-day challenge in terms of starting your day instead of with the news. Start it with gratitude, fill your heart with gratitude, and see how that enables you to show up differently in your life day to day.
Again, a pleasure I treasure. Penny Zenker, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. This podcast is produced by Pod Edits. Visit podedits.com for professional podcast publishing.